Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Marhaba.
MRHB EmplifAI has been certified by Shariyah Review Bureau.
Hey there, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. Welcome back to the Marhaba channel. Today with us we have the SRB team all the way from Qatar. And before I get started, I want to say Assalamu alaikum to all of you guys. How are you guys doing? Sheikh Mohammed, Sheikh Irshad, and Mufti Bilal. How's your day? What's going on? Assalamu alaikum. Amazing. So we have some amazing ulama here with us, and today's conversation is about Amplify, passive income, and what makes Amplify a product that we as Muslims and even ethical investors should be looking towards. To start off the conversation, Sheikh Mohammed, I want to ask you, what is the process that you guys have used in regards to Shariah compliancy testing, and what's that structure look like?
نحمد ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد. We at SRB follow a certain structure when we approach the clients with reviews of certain products and to analyze their Sharia compliance, or if they are not Sharia compliant, what could be done to maybe bring them more in line with. So usually what we do is we have first chats with the client, try to understand from them the product, how they envision the product to work, what the product for, the purpose of the product. And once we got that basic understanding, usually we go through any type of documentation, diagrams, structures, product papers, technical papers, to then get a deeper understanding of the product itself. So we have something similar done with Amplify. We had initial meetings, have tried to understand what this product is all about. Afterwards, we have received the technical paper, the white paper of the product, some other documents that were prepared discussing the Sharia compliance or the vision of this particular product. We have reviewed all of those, and many a times it's not enough to just go through those papers. Usually we come then up with many, many questions with regards to what we have reviewed or read. So same thing here in the case of Amplify. We had at least 2 or 3 more calls afterwards. One of those calls was rather lengthy, where we had a very detailed presentation and a live demo of how, for example, this product would go along and work, which was very helpful for us to actually understand it. After all these questions from our side were answered, and we said, yeah, this product, inshallah, is as Sharia compliant. And that's usually how this goes with any type of client or person that approaches us with a product to a certain Sharia compliance or not.
Very nice. I want to discuss a little bit about what is the reasoning that could make something more permissible and something less permissible. So the criteria of success here. Should I go Dr. Irshad for this one?
Yes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Nahmadu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem amma ba'd. Basically, when any product, any proposal is received at SRB, what we generally do, very easy thing. The first, we will try to see whether this product contain any type of prohibited things. For example, interest or riba is prohibited, gharar is prohibited. There are some conditions which are not permissible in Sharia. So the first screening, we will see whether these prohibitions are there or not. If the prohibition is not there, so the first screening is completed. The second one, we will see what is the objective of this project or the proposal. Is it legal, or it fall in the ambit of regulated items of financial sector? And the product will be presented to people of what country. Is there any legal prohibition or not? This is the second screening. If there is a first screening clear, but the second screening is not clear, for example, if the product is not legal, then we will not certify and they say that although this is permissible in Sharia, but probably you may have some difficulties in your countries. So the second screening is legal permissibility, regulated, and other things. should be clear from, for example, the possibility of deceit and fraud or cheating and Ponzi scheme or other things like that. And after the screening of that, the third screening will be the documentation and the arrangement and the methodology and operationalities. So after screening of these type of three screening, we are able to certify that the product is Sharia compliant. So while in the documentation, what we will ensure that the correct position, the correct picture of what we have understood from the presentation, from the proposal, is being presented by the document. Sometimes it happens that we discuss, we agree on a structure which is free from interest, free from gharar, free from other prohibitions of Sharia. But when we prepare the documentation, legal firms, lawyers, sometimes they suggest something which are against the instruction of Sharia, or they may have some prohibitions which are not permitted by Sharia. So after these type of three screening, we generally we are able to arrive at conclusion. Sometime another fourth screening we will do. Sometime we do, sometime we do not do. The fourth screening is we will see that if the product is according to the set Sharia standards. For example, there is a Sharia standard for financial sector which is called AOFI, Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial institutions. So they set Sharia standards. Sometimes we see also, but sometimes, for example, for cryptos, for the DeFi, for uh, these type of activities, and for example, mining and other thing. So there are no standards. So in that case, we generally skip this step. But if there is a standard which is available here for Sharia, then we will also undergo this type of procedure elsewhere, and which we will try to implement these standard as well, so that the product acceptability and conceptualization will be very wide and very acceptable in all over the world. So this is the four-step very briefly.
Mhm.
These four steps are generally followed in certification or screening or arriving at a conclusion of Sharia compliance, whether the product is Sharia compliant or not. So generally we follow these steps.
Okay, so that seems like a pretty vigorous process. With that being said, what did you see in Amplify, Marhaba's product, that would make it halal, and maybe another DeFi product which is non-permissible?
See, sometime in DeFi products, it is possible that on basis of the cryptos or tokens on by using blockchain, some impermissible activities can be performed. For example, lending and borrowing. For example, sometime you see that staking on the basis of sharing some revenues, some interest, or the token is not Sharia compliant, or the purpose, for example, after the revision of the white paper of any token or any crypto, anything, the Sharia Review Bureau is not comfortable, for example, because we generally conduct some time of review of the white papers. So if the proposal is here for this product, we generally say that we are not comfortable with this product, so we will not issue a certificate. But if there is a direct DeFi and the operations are not repugnant to Sharia, or there is no violation of Sharia, simple, for example, holding of the cryptos or uh, issuance of the tokens and issuance of the service tokens and things like that. So we generally accept this and we allow it. So this is the basically in very raw. I can say that this is the very raw form of the analysis, because these things are not very standardized. So sometimes every product will take longer time, and we will see, we generally, when we analyze the white paper and the procedures and the activities that are being done under this any particular thing. So generally it is not very easy to apply a simple ruling on all type of the product. So we just need to emphasize on each and every the product. So this is the generally way we adopt it.
Okay, very interesting. Now, I I know that Mufti Bilal from our side was working in hand to hand with you guys to, talk about the product, understanding of the product, and he did the initial research behind the product. So I want to give Mufti Bilal a second to chime in and kind of talk about our initial works on Amplify, and then the work that he's done with you guys when it comes to the Sharia compliancy.
Thank you, Ahmed. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yes, I mean, initially, the first thing to understand here is that at Marhaba, we take Sharia compliance in a very strict manner. It took us quite some time internally before we reached out to SRB. It took us a lot of time for us to actually work on a structure that we felt was Sharia compliant. So I think for over a year, the internal Sharia board had worked with the development team, and there were a lot of discussion, a lot of research that was put into it, a lot of disagreement at times, because it wasn't something that, although it may look simple, from the outside, maybe for an investor, it might be like a very simple product, but there were a lot of effort and a lot of research that was put into it. So before we were satisfied with everything being in line with Sharia compliance and meeting the standard of IOFI, because although we could have just create a structure without following any form of IOFI standard or any other standard out there, but we wanted to ensure that the product itself will meet up the highest standard as possible in terms of Sharia compliance. So we ensured that that everything was perfectly in line and it was not controversial for any scholars to actually approve it or look at it in the future. So once we were satisfied with our research and with the work that we have done, created the structure, only then a year later we kind of approach SRB to actually review it for our peace of mind and to certify it. Again, we probably didn't have to do that, right? But we wanted to make sure that not only, because at the end of the day, products from DeFi, from a Sharia perspective, they're quite new, right? It's a very innovative industry out there. So we wanted to really ensure that not only that the product is Sharia compliant, but also that the work and the research that we have put behind is also perfectly in line with senior scholars and reputable scholars such as SRB. So that's when we approached them, and alhamdulillah, there was no many changes that we had to make in the end. And alhamdulillah, in the end, we managed to get the certification from them.
In this whole work, when I know when we started initially, there's a whole discussion about passive income and passive income being permissible or not from the perspective of DeFi, from because there's also passive income that comes from riba. But I want to kind of throw the next question to Sheikh Mohammed and ask about passive income and the importance of passive income and passive income within DeFi, and what's halal, what's haram when it comes to passive income. So Sheikh, I'm just gonna take the screen to you.
Interesting question. I would say this should apply for active income, would apply for passive income as well. What you to look at is when you have passive income running, that the sources are not something that has been forbidden. In other words, it's not anything that generates riba. It's not something that has been received out of, you call this rasab, trying to steal or usurp it from someone. So as long as there are no mumara'at, that's what we call them, things that are forbidden in transactions within the structure of your passive income is perfectly permissible. When it comes to spiritual, the spiritual aspect that you have mentioned, I mean, the same thing that applies to your salah, for example. If your salah has been done, all the arkans have been met, your salah has been completed, the question is, what is your ruhani effect of it? What is the nur that you receive out of the salah? The same thing would apply for your income. If your passive income is somewhat tainted, necessarily the food that you buy with it, the clothing you buy with it, anything else that you use it to invest, for example, this type of tainted income, will have naturally also a spirit upon yourself. And this will only keep on growing, the longer you go forth with this. But the cleaner you keep your income, the more observant you are in Sharia rules, inshallah, you will not just get the halal risk, but also the nur that comes with it. And this applies to basically all walks of life.
Mm-hmm. You talked a little bit about following the rules and the structures. If you make sure if you follow them within Salah, you'll get more barakah within it. So what within passive income structures should people be looking out for?
Again, the easiest way to look out is what are the things that Allah Ta'ala has forbidden. Something that I usually try to explain is when we try to do some transactions, right, all we have to look at is what are the big no-nos that Allah Ta'ala has put down or has mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And alhamdulillah, they're not very many. They are do not lie, do not cheat, do not use riba, do not do ghasab. So in your structures, the same thing, this is what you have to look at. Are there any of these mumana'at in structures that could impact your passive income? If they are not, then the absence of these mumana'at in itself is a dalil, a proof that your passive income, inshallah, Sharia compliant.
Sheikh, you talked about something very important here, and I think a lot of people forget about the other elements. When we talk about DeFi and passive income and halal income, we are always looking at, does it have riba? The riba is the main concept that everybody looks at, but you kind of brought in other elements too, like the structures and do the cheat? Is there lies? Is there anything else that could invoke a cautionary thought from that organization or that process that's being developed? And you know what we did also think about these things, and I think I'll let Mufti Blad kind of talk about this when it comes to when we were developing not just Amplify but other products too, but because we're talking about Amplify, we'll keep it focused on Amplify.
Yes, Ahmed. I mean, of course, when it comes to Amplify in a DeFi world, first of all, as you know, DeFi being within dealing with cryptos is already kind of, I would say, problematic because of a lot of the scandals that's happening out there. High profile cases that we're seeing at the moment with FTX, etc. So there are a lot of people that are making money by cheating others, right? So it's not just always about the riba, but it's definitely about the sort of deception that we tend to see in the DeFi space, especially when it comes to crypto. So when you're making a product like Amplify and trying to be Sharia compliant, of course, we're going to go and ensuring that there's no element of riba involved, there's no elements of halal and maisir involved, yes, but there's also this trust that you have to build between yourself and your users, right? That you don't want, of course, we're not here to cheat people, but then how do you convince that to others, right? How do you have to be able to convince that, especially when you deal with crypto people, they already have made their mind up that as soon as you just say the word crypto, they say, oh, it's a scam. So not only you have to deal with this, and you have to deal with this with wisdom, right? We have to say with wisdom, because at the end of the day, I feel that if somebody he thinks crypto is a scam, crypto is not Sharia compliant, fair enough. You don't invest your money in it, and that's it. We're not here to convince you, to say that you have to come and bring your money to us. That is not the point. The point is we have to ensure that what we do matches, it has to actually reflect the Sharia standard when it comes to trust. Yeah. And this has to be seen not only in the structure of the product, but also in the messaging. We do not want to say something or promising something that we ourselves, we will not be able to deliver, right? We cannot say to somebody, come to us, you're going to be making money, yeah? And, 1 year later, we don't know, something wrong happened or there's a crisis or something like that, and then the person is not making money. So this is very important. So not only you have to ensure that your product is Sharia compliant, but you also have to ensure that it is trustworthy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, very well put. And I think this two answers brings me to the next part of the conversation is uh, why is it important for us to think about halal? Why is it important for us to think about ethical solutions? There's a lot of solutions like Amplify where people can make passive income. People can make yield, which is, upwards of 100, 200, 300, 500%, especially in the crypto world. I mean, if you take out the impermanent loss and all that stuff, you come back down to 50, 60%. But anywho, why is it important to not look at those for yourself, one spiritually and also economically? And I want to kind of take this question to Dr. Irshad, Sheikh Irshad. So what's your thoughts on this? The importance of thinking about ethical and halal when it comes to making income and then also passive income.
See, your question reminded me a very famous hadith. Holy Prophet ﷺ said, a person is standing and praying to Allah and say, oh my Lord, oh my Lord, oh my God, oh my Rabb. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Holy Prophet ﷺ said, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listened to him? Because his eating is haram, his earning is haram, what he is wearing is haram. And also a hadith, Holy Prophet ﷺ said, there a time will come where a person will not care about how he is earning. He will care about what is coming to his pocket. So this is very important. If we are performing our prayers, if we are doing our ibadah, and we are not caring about what we are earning, then it means we are simply denying and simply not listening to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's very famous instruction in Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la ta'kulu amwalakum bainakum bil batil. For those who believe, don't eat wealth of each other by impermissible ways, batil ways. So therefore, this is very important thing. And you see, when Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted Muslims their countries and their freedom, they start thinking on that when we are free to perform our prayer, we are free to fast, we are free to go for Hajj and Umrah, but we are not free to earn halal income. And especially the financial sector, in this financial sector, you see the whole structure, almost all the world whole structure, financial structure is focusing on earning of riba and not focusing on the removal of gharar and impermissible condition from the contract. Therefore, this is one of the key important and very important responsibilities of Muslim. And if you listen, if you look at the agreements that Holy Prophet ﷺ has entered in his life with other nations, so one of the conditions, as historians mention or muhaddithin mention, Holy Prophet ﷺ has entered in an agreement with non-Muslim peace agreements. One of the conditions with some tribes and some those who are non-Muslim, one of the conditions was do not take riba in among your tribal life. Although they were not Muslim, but because they were going in an agreement, with peace agreement with Muslim, and therefore Holy Prophet also focused on this also. Therefore, it is very important for us to focus on ethical income and halal income, whether we are planning for our main income, for active income, for passive income, for our savings or whatever. And this is the responsibility of individual and collective. So whatever the program and any Muslim country, like any other program, any Islamic bank, any company that like EmplifAI, those who are caring about providing the solution to Muslims for their halal investments, halal earning, these are very good steps. And I think these are the steps of the time, because I have seen when I was a student 30 years back, I have seen many people who are living in these countries and they say we have savings, but we are not able to earn a halal income because whenever we go and whenever we invest, the interest income comes. So this is therefore very important. Every Muslim should be careful about earning halal, should be careful about offering prayers. So like worships are very important for us. Similarly, earning halal income, earning ethical income, earning in a way that is permissible, earning in a way that is ethical in Islam also. All these are collective responsibility. And if we say we are Muslim, it means we are Muslim in our whole life, collectively, not individually, not in our prayer, not in our worship only. but are dealing in financial dealing, in social dealing, and economic dealing, and also in worships.
Yeah, so subhanallah, I think that touches on some really important aspects of life, and I think quoting those initial hadiths will bring a lot of impact in the answer. I want to go to Sheikh Mohammed, and I just want to talk a little bit about the value that passive income could have. So we've established, amplifies halal. We've established that it's very important to earn halal. It's important to make sure that you are within the guidelines of what's permissible and what's not permissible. Now, within that guideline, I want to talk about what is the importance of passive income, because we talk about earning money, and I think a lot of people have in today's generation, especially the youth, especially people who are from the age of 18 to, like, I'll say 35, like the previous generations, they don't have the experience or the understanding of the importance of saving and making passive income. And I think I want to lead you towards answering this question.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question indeed. Reminds me of a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, to leave your family behind rich, well off, sustaining themselves is better than to leave your family behind poor, going from door to door asking for help. So this in itself gives us a very important insight in the importance not just of passive income, but also saving, to choose strategies that ensure that also our families, after we have gone or when we have reached an old age where we actively really can't support or go working anymore, that there is something that we can rely on, some type of income that we save that works. Now the question here could come, well then how don't you in Allah? Why should you save money? There is tawakkul. I believe in Allah. Allah Ta'ala will give. I mean, yeah, that's a very valid point, but then the Prophet ﷺ has explained what tawakkul in a hadith. When a Sahabi went to him and asked him, should I tie my camel up and believe in Allah and trust in Allah, or should I let it roam freely and trust tomorrow still he Allah? So the Prophet ﷺ said, "I'qilha wa tawakkal." Tie it up and then put your trust in Allah. So here he actually taught us what tawakkul is. Tawakkul in reality is the choosing of the correct, compliant halal asbab, reasonings, sources, deploy them, use them, but the effectiveness of these strategies you have chosen may it be active income, passive income, a savings account, investment in a certain company, how effective the result will be, this is what you will leave up to Allah. But this dunya works on asbab, so choose the correct asbab, the correct sources, strategies to think about what lies ahead, because we never know how long we will live or how short our life will be. We never know what situation our family might be in. So why not prepare for this? And this is basically what tawakkul also teaches us. Work for it, choose a source, choose something that works for you, and then hope that Allah Ta'ala will put barakah in it and blessings in it and make it fruitful for me, for my family, maybe for the whole ummah, right? And that's basically the importance here also of passive income. Not everybody is able to actively go out and work. What about widows? Do we really want to tell our widows now go out into the market and start selling if there's an easier way? Not choose a way passive income can reach them by teaching them strategies of, for example, investment. Why can't they do that? That's another way of maybe supporting them or helping them standing on their own feet. The same thing, I mean, you could talk, I guess, hours about this. The same applies to children, the young generation. Right now, when I see this, everything is about the now, 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 now. I want to have it now. I don't even want to wait till tomorrow. And this is not the way we as Muslims have been raised to function. You see, something else I remembered now is that the Prophet ﷺ said, if you sit down and you plant a tree, and now Qiyamah comes, finish planting your tree. We know the tree will grow, will die, will not survive. Nothing will survive Qiyamah. But we will still not stop in the now. Still complete your work. There is thawab still to come. There are still benefits still to come. So finish planting your tree and then worry about Qiyamah also. Right? So it's not all about what now. And subhanAllah, the Quran says in so many places. And they want now and they forget what is still ahead. This does not apply just about our life and the akhirah, but this is, the ayah is also general. It applies to how I live right now. What will happen 10 years down the road? But this takes, of course, patience. This takes planning, and this takes tawakkul, choosing proper sources and strategies, and then hope that they become fruitful. Passive income is just one of them.
That's been beautifully said. It's funny how I had ordered something yesterday and I was like, why isn't delivered yet? And you kind of coding that the essence of now. And I think you're right. We all, especially the youth, have a little bit of repercussions of the modern day systems and everything. A few really important points touched by Dr. Irshad, and then also by Sheikh Mohammed in regards to tawakkul, understanding the importance of passive income, understanding, you have halal solutions, so why not go towards them? And that being said, I want to give Mufti Bilal a chance to talk a little bit about, the products that we're building as a whole, and then bringing in that essence of, look, you have solutions now. You have products that we're working towards. And, slowly, but for sure, surely, we are developing new products, impactful products. For Marhaba, EmplifAI is one of them, and how you can get involved with all these different products.
Yes, I think as Sheikh Mohammed and Dr. Irshad have said earlier, about the importance of, halal in the life of a Muslim. These solutions that our Marhaba are providing are essentially solutions that will be helping Muslim to live their life, or at least, one aspect of their life to in accordance with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. In the famous hadith narrated in Tirmidhi, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed us that, the feet of man's feet will not move until he is asked about certain matters, and one of these matters is where this man has earned his money and where he has spent it. So this concept of halal is paramount, not just in the way that you are earning your money as well, but also in the way that you are spending. And it's not just something that, I think nowadays, I do understand that there are a lot of negative, how can I say that, negative publicity around halal certification these days. People tend to think that Sharia boards are just here, or Sharia scholars are probably just here, to make money, or even, Muslims are here to develop this so-called Sharia compliant product when there's nothing to it, and you can just go and earn your money in a halal way yourself. Why do we need to have halal product? Why do we need to have Sharia compliant certification, this and that? I mean, I do understand people, they're a bit iffy about it, but this is not a very light matter. At the end of the day, when it comes to halal, not only it is important for a Muslim to earn halal, because this is something that he is going to be asked on the day of judgment, and it is also Allah's commands to go and earn halal and to spend it in halal, and to actually how can I say that, contextualize this importance. If we look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, when he describes two groups of people, one of which is they are going to be traveling the land seeking Allah's bounty, and the other ones are the ones that are going in the path of Allah to fight, to do jihad. And Imam Qurtubi rahimahullah, he says in the commentary of this verse that the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought these two categories, he mentioned these two categories in the same verse, It tells you how important it is to go and earn halal and spend it in halal way on yourself and on your family. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about halal earning in the same line, in the same verse as jihad, that just tells you the importance. And it is a struggle. Earning halal and spending halal is a struggle. So we think, oh, halal, halal is a very light word on the tongue, but it is not something that is easy for a Muslim to follow at times. And we see that. And not only it is not easy for a person to follow, but even in terms of delivering something halal, it is not easy either. You know, if we look at the industry, when it comes to the halal industry, not just in terms of financial product, but even in terms of food, how many times do we hear stories that are people that are selling meat that is not halal, but they sell it with a label that is halal? And these are not non-Muslims that are doing it. These are Muslims who are doing it. Muslims selling haram meat with the label of halal. Muslims that are selling financial product labeled as halal, but in fact they're haram, and they know about it. Muslims that are using false certification when it comes to halal food or when it comes to financial product. Muslims that are seeking halal certification to deliver something that is haram. How many times do we hear of these stories? So this is not just a simple matter as such. It is a struggle, and this is why the Prophet ﷺ in a hadith narrated in Tirmidhi, he talks about the truthful and the trustworthy merchant. That the truthful and the trustworthy merchant on the day of judgment, he will be among the. I mean, in Jannah, he will be among the prophets. He will be among the truthful, and he will be among the shuhada, the martyrs, those who died in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why would the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mention the trustworthy merchant among these people? Why? Because it is a struggle in itself to be truthful. To be a trustworthy person, it is a struggle, and especially when it comes to business, especially when it comes to money, right? Because money in itself, as we know, is a fitna, is a test for the Muslim. So that's why, you know, it is very important to ensure to not take this thing as a light matter. Halal certification is a very important, not only to ensure that you are following Allah's commands, but also because when it comes to financial matters, people, they are not educated. People, they don't know. You know, we live in a very complex financial world where products are not plain vanilla anymore. They're very exotic, and sometimes we don't know what's going on behind the scene, right? So this thing about Shariah halal certification, Shariah compliance certification, is to actually give the peace of mind to the person. Look, I always say, you know, when people, I mean, I live in the West, and there are a lot of people, they have objection, for example, regarding Shariah compliant mortgages, right? They think that is very similar to haram one. And I always say to people, look, if he has got a certification from reputable scholars, then you've got nothing to worry about. On the day of judgment, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he asks you, you say, Allah, you know, I don't know. It's this scholar who said that it was halal to me. Why do you have to worry about it? Right? So this is something that we have to bear in mind.
I think you all have touched upon something very heavy and very important in regards to what are we looking for when it comes to these products. We should be looking for the element of it being permissible, but how do we know that? Right? We know, and as you said, Sheikh, you said these are not vanilla anymore. These products are very exotic and complicated. And I must have to agree with you, because when I started detailedly studying into the Web 3.0, I realized it's not like your conventional finance. I have a background and I have a degree in finance, but I was like, these are different, because it's like you're adding the element of computer science, of finance and economics all in one, and then you're bringing out a product. Now, that being said, I think I also want to let Sheikh Irshad talk a little bit about the importance of these compliancy, and I'll kind of share experience before I'll let Sheikh Irshad talk about it. I was looking for solutions in the DeFi world for passive income, and I went to a few websites where it did say halal, but they put a little asterisk saying we don't have any scholars with us. This is just from the base element that we've taken out what could be impermissible from the aspect of interest. But I was like, but there's so many more things that could make it impermissible, and that's what Sheikh Mohammed was talking about previously. So Dr. Shah, a little bit, could you chime in on why is it important for organizations and us as customers and consumers to look for solutions that have boards or that have these certifications?
See, this is very important and very, I think, relevant question of this time. There are two type of people, as mentioned by your scholars. First, those who are blaming Sharia scholar and they say they are making money, they are achieving certificate, and they are making simple things very difficult. So we don't need Sharia scholar. This is the one mentality. Obviously, this is a few people accept this mentality, but this mentality is here. Another mentality, which is a bit, common, they say that we have implemented Sharia requirements ourselves. So we are focusing on implementation. So we don't need Sharia scholar because we have implemented in our life. So as we do not need Sharia scholar in our routine life, in our routine business, so we do not need Sharia scholar for in this business also. And we have taken care of all the requirements and other things. But see, if you look at the past 20 years and 25 year experience, there is a gradual concept of gradual implementation of Sharia compliance system, Sharia governance system, Sharia audit system, internal and external audit. Why? Why the whole world is going towards more strict and more firm way of regulation, compliance, governance, control. Why? This is because of two reasons. The first reason is if you try to invent something, if you want to provide something, but you have loose control over a long run, you miss day by day some control. So ultimately, a thing which does not have control, compliance, regulation, audit, ultimately the controls getting loose day by day. And later on, ultimately, you enter in a position where this product ultimately become non-Sharia compliant, illegal, and there might be some very difficult positions, maybe haram income, maybe mushtabih income, maybe doubtful income. So keeping in view the past 20 or 25 year experience, now central banks, governments, they are tightening the control. And if you look at certification, majority of the Sharia certifications company, they now limit their certification for 1 year. I mean, the life of the certification generally remains for 1 year. After every year, they require some compliance, some audit. See, so these systems, when general public, when all the countries, when those people who are caring about management, who are more careful about the compliance, if they are inventing this system, obviously this is the collective wisdom, collective logic. If they are inventing this system, if they are implementing this system, it means there is a need for this type of system. So without having the board, without having the advisor, just by implementing, so the two things are very doubtful. The first thing, a person who is doing a business, how can we say that this person is a master in law, in master in Sharia, and master in regulation, and master in other compliance? Obviously, this is not possible. This is the first thing. And the second thing, if you don't have any controlling authority, any person, any body that control, that look after, that see the governance, that ensure the compliance, they conduct the audit, obviously, no one is there to control. And we have seen multiple fraud, multiple very loose structure, multiple scam, multiple Ponzi schemes in this world. Obviously, in Western world, in other in part of the countries, in other part of the world. So we generally see these type of loose control just because of the absence of the controlling system. So those who are claiming that we are Sharia compliant without having any board, without having any advisor, without having any Sharia compliance system, they are, I don't think they are successful even 1% in 100. They cannot work in the long run in the proper way. So the whole world is now in a phase of more tightening of the compliance, more tightening of the regulation to ensure that we are providing the people what we are claiming. And in Sharia, last point I'm telling you, very important point, when we say we are providing you halal, this is our responsibility from two angles. The first angle is a legal angle. And the second angle is from a Sharia angle, the angle of Akhirah, Day of Judgment. We say people, we are providing you halal solution, but we are not caring about halal status. We are conducting two type of crime. One, the illegal, because this is the legal requirement of all countries, even non-Muslim countries. They say if you claim something, you have to provide this thing. And the secondly, when we say we are Sharia compliant, and we are at least bothered about Sharia compliance mechanism, obviously we are answerable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can ask, he may ask us about our loose behavior, about our least concern on these things. So this is therefore, this is not about the income generation for those who are scholars. This is about the developing a system, a controlling mechanism, so that people can be satisfied, the regulator, all the beneficiaries, whether they are regulator, whether they are the people, whether they are general practitioners, they will be happy, they will be satisfied after looking at the system. So working in a system is much better than working in non-system or than in working in chaos. Working in a system, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also liked the system. Like the Holy Prophet said, Yadullahi ala al-jama'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mercy on a group. So one of the meaning of this, working in a collective way, working in a system is much better than working individually, working in chaos, working without system.
Okay, I think that's some really important points, and this is the same reason why we take our Sharia certifications, and even we have an internal team, and why they work day and night with us. And I'd have to say, Mufti Blah sometimes messages me saying, Ahmed, you're doing marketing, but this is not something we should be should be doing. And then I'd be like, well, it's just a few basic things from the Web3 style of marketing, because Web3 style of marketing is a little bit more guerrilla, right? But he messages me, and then we have to take these things as important. And I want to go into last bit of the question here, the importance of understanding DeFi and these futuristic products, these Web3 based products, such as Amplify, for the next generation, and why is it important for ulama and also as us customers and the general Muslim community or general ethical minded community. And I have to congratulate you guys, because you guys are the initial ulama that are working on the Web3 world, which is very important, right? Tech moves fast, and we need ulama that can understand and kind of give us that guidance. So from each one of you guys, I just want you guys to chime in a little bit on this. I'll start with Sheikh Mohammed in regards to the importance of understanding these next futuristic Web3 style products.
All right. I think before I answer this question, I think I should talk about the premise here, or try to pose a question and also answer it. The word algebra, where does it come from? Right? Algebra. The numbers that we nowadays use throughout the world to do calculations, where do they come from? When we look at basic medicine, there are some books that still have relevance, even really old. One book from Nesina, who has been, whose name has been changed in Greek, where he is now called Avicenna. But we're talking about Ibn Sina, about philosophy and well-being of and focus and so on. One name comes to mind. You have maybe read it or heard it, Averroes, but he's actually Ibn Rushd. What were those scholars famous for? They did focus on Quran and the Sunnah. Well, actually they did. But their understanding of Quran and Sunnah and finding Allah was a bit more wider than just focusing on what is this tafsir and what is the literal meaning of hadith, right? For them, the understanding of getting to Allah was to understand and know Allah in each and everything, each and every aspect of our life, our health, our mental health, our way of thinking, the way we do mu'amalat, all these are aspects of whole and complete Muslim. And that is scholars, our old have the initial charting of the skies, the way have been traversed. There are until now lots of tools even in museums that showed to what extent Muslim mathematicians have gone to calculate and put their formulas into place. Has this something? Oh, no. But is it something that could help you increase knowledge, increase the betterment of mankind? That is actually something that is encouraged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, very much. So the scholars very much were focusing on learning about each aspect of it. So that's one premise here. So in particular, there is something that makes me a bit sad, and that is if we look at how far we lag behind when it comes to its financial systems as compared to the conventional ones. How far are we there? We are lagging miles behind them. Why? Because it's not just the mistake of the Ummah, but a mistake of the side and the scholars. When we initially thought, let's leave this is for them. The issue is this system became so the way of how to do interest-based financing in the world. Now, how do we get out of it? And now we're trying to struggle and learn it and find our way out of this, find solutions, find alternatives that could be replaced in this world of riba and interest. The same thing is what I feel when it comes to DeFi, when it comes to crypto, when it comes to this whole new Maidan that now lays in front of us. I do not want to see this Ummah lagging behind again, like it has in the world of finance, like it has in the world of education or in the world of technology. Subhanallah, the world, but how many Muslims have we seen trying to travel to the moon? We have laid the basis for so many things, but now we are the ones who are trying to catch up to the race. I want this to happen. At one point, we have to actually wake up and focus and put our whole focus on new inventions, the taqaddum, the tarafu, and so on. This is just way. So instead of being someone who tries to catch up to the chase, why not try to actually go straight forward into it? And of their own invention, put their own unique spin in it. Like, for example, to do with their structure. That's basically think about this whole issue.
And I think we in the entire management and the entire team at Marhaba believe the same as what you just said. I remember when we initially started Marhaba, I was one of the founding team members. This was one of the reasons why we started it, because we didn't find solutions. We're looking for halal solutions, but we're not finding the ones that we need. And we decided, you know what, instead of looking and being on a passive stance, let's be more of an action stance, and let's find these solutions and make the solutions. And alhamdulillah, now we're working together, and you're here giving certifications in regards to Web3 solutions, and we're here developing solutions for the greater ethical community and the greater ummah out there. I will also ask Sheikh Irshad to kind of chime in on this and talk about the importance of understanding what's happening with the futuristic of finance.
See, as rightly Sheikh Muhammad Ahmad has said, very important thing. If we are getting ready for future, and if we prepare for future, and the preparation starts with initial steps. So if we get ready and be prepared for the future, ultimately it will be very beneficial for us, and it will be very useful for us. And if we start stopping here and we're not discussing the future things and keeping ourselves away from these future development, and look at these things as a very strange thing, and all things against the guidance of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, many of people they say thinking about these things and finding a solution is not our responsibility. So if we work and if we enter in this world with this mentality, ultimately it will create difficulties for us, because it's at the start, catching up things in the start is much easier than then catching them after they get bigger and bigger. Look at the conventional financial things. We are still fear facing difficulties, although the Islamic banking started 30 years back or around 40 years back. But still we are very small part of Islamic banking. The penetration ratio in some countries is less than 10%, in some countries 20%. So instead of spending a lot of effort and convincing even Muslim to do something good, it's much better if we start now and if we prepare for futuristic development now, and if we start contributing now, it will shape the future according to Islam as well, according to Islamic instruction as well, and the whole future financial dimension and financial possibilities will take along Islamic alternatives and Islamic options. It will be ultimately good for us, for those who are coming, and obviously the very famous terminology of sustainable development. For sustainability of Shariah is also very important for Ummah. So it is our individual and collective responsibility.
So bringing all of this together, before I come back to Mufti Bilal, I want to kind of tell the story. The story here is that we didn't find a solution, so we started building an entire ecosystem for the futuristic finance market that's coming up, Web3, crypto, DeFi. And so we built this entire ecosystem, and the gateway to it is Sahal wallet, right? So you can trade, you can buy, you can sell, you can engage with different cryptos, which are permissible because they're already audited internally by Mufti Bilal and our previous ulama. And with that, we have the products such as Tijarex, which is buying and selling of gold. We have NFTs, and we make sure the NFTs are being audited before they go up, so nothing impermissible is going up. Then we have things like Mirror, which is halal passive staking, and then Amplify, which we're working with the ulama here. And then we're bringing the next futuristic products upon this ecosystem, such as Empower, which is buying and selling real life products such as fruits, or your phone, or buying subscriptions online using Sahal wallet, using our crypto solutions. And then zakat is on top of this for the money that you make, and there's much more that's coming. So Mufti Bilal, as we're working on this and you're on the team with us, how important is this? Because we're not seeing a lot of solutions out there like ourselves.
No, we're not seeing that many solutions because obviously we're still at a very early stage. But I believe that just that everything is quite new when it comes to Islamic DeFi. DeFi industry in itself is quite new as well. Obviously, since the last crypto winter, I think the industry has taken a step back. So, as the respectable scholars have said, that the last thing we want is to try to play catching up. Okay, we don't want to play catching up. We've been doing that with conventional financial system, and whether it's work or is working or it hasn't worked, I'm not going to go into that debate. But the last thing we want to do when it comes to DeFi is to play catching up. Right now, we have a real solution, and I do not want to see DeFi as the only solution. Yeah, I do not want to see DeFi as the only alternative either. Yeah, I'm not saying to people, forget about conventional, or traditional Islamic banking or traditional Islamic finance. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we need to keep on working towards more solutions. The more solutions you're going to have, the more, the better it is for us. As a community, obviously, earlier we talked about the importance of earning halal and spending halal. But as a community as well, it is very important to actually make money. Money is paramount for our community, for the development of our community. The more money we're going to have, the more zakat will be distributed, the more potential for creating work project there will be, and therefore the more chances for the community as a whole to be prosperous around the world. And DeFi is one of them solution, or one of the means that can bring this type of solution. The more Sharia compliant alternative we're going to have within the DeFi industry, the better the Muslim community will be. I think it was Sheikh Muhammad or Dr. Ishad mentioned it earlier about, students in the past, they had money in their savings and there was no way for them to invest. And I think in the last couple of years, I do consultation for National Zakat Foundation, so I have to calculate zakat for for British Muslim every year here. And I noticed something since the last couple of years, that there are more and more Muslim women who are, when they're calling to calculate their zakat, they are eager to invest their money. And we're talking about a new generation of Muslim women in the West that are not married yet. They're very young, mashallah, they're very intelligent. They are working and they have a substantial amount of saving. And they do not know what to do with it. They are really, really desperate to invest this money in a halal manner. In the last couple of years, I have seen that. And it's unbelievable. And when I'm talking, for me, it's more surprising because now we're seeing more Muslim women wanting, we're not talking about Muslim women wanting to go to work in a shop or something like that. We're seeing Muslim women wanting to enter the financial world, specifically the Islamic financial world. And therefore, we always have to be innovative and keep on bringing more solutions. And this is where, DeFi has a role to play, specifically when the world is moving towards a very decentralized system, right? We are moving in a very decentralized system in every aspect, whether it's media or, there's so many things that are decentralized, that are not dependent on one body anymore. And this is why we have to seize on the occasion to create Islamic financial solutions that can be reachable from anyone from around the world. And this is the beauty of DeFi, right? You have a product, someone from France can invest with you, somebody who's in Asia, someone who's in Africa. Right now, we wouldn't have been able to do that with traditional Islamic finance. I mean, if you have a product in the UK, then, what are the chances for someone, from South America to come and invest? It's highly, I don't think it's even possible, right? So now we have this solution with this possibility with DeFi to create this sort of solution where Muslims have more ways for them to invest in a halal manner. And that's why we have to give, even at Marhaba, we cannot just sit back and think, okay, we've created Sahal Wallet, we've created Tijaras, and we've created EmplifAI, and that's it, we've done our bit. No, we are going to have to keep on being more innovative and bringing more product to the table. And I hope, that we are not, in the near future, we're not the only one doing it. I hope there are going to be more people. There are going to be more Muslims. There's a huge talent in the Muslim community, right? Especially when it comes, to the IT businesses. There are huge talent for Muslim people to come and create new product and create new alternative for Muslims to actually earn a halal living.
Amazing. So the last question, and I promise you this is the last question, and all you guys can just take 1 quick minute, and I think from there we'll wrap it up, if that's okay. So the last question I want to ask you guys is your reaction towards a product like EmplifAI. What's your initial reaction to this product that's out there working, people are making passive income from it, and you guys all have worked on it? So 1 minute quick answer. What's your reaction on EmplifAI? I'll start with Sheikh Mohammed.
Well, I was happily surprised, let's say that. I have been trying to understand crypto, but most of the products I've actually been looking at were more or less products one has to find the way themselves, where is halal, where is haram. So what I liked about EmplifAI when it actually crossed my table is that this particular worry is actually taken out. There's a Shariyah board attached to them. They do the screening. They have their audit going on. So type of tedious background work that would have been needed for many, many other options, that's basically already taken. Way more easy for the layman to actually enter into the crypto sphere.
Alhamdulillah. Dr. Shad?
Oh, yes. 3 comments from my side. The first is a very good and promising product. Such products are very good, and especially in Western countries, so that it create 2 type of ease for Muslim investors. First, digital and futuristic model of finance, and number 2, earning halal income. So this is the first point. The second point, alhamdulillah, as Sheikh Muhammad Ahmed mentioned, setting a standard for others to come to follow. strict Sharia compliance, close governance model, appointment of Sharia boards, and having with them sessions and awareness session like that, like this. And the third point, very energetic people, as I've seen, as Sheikh Mohammed Ahmed has rightly mentioned. So we expect that in future, more products, more investment scheme, more, variants of this product, inshallah ta'ala, we will see. So I think this is some very good step, and I will obviously support. Just one point adding to this, that because this is a very new area, so there might be some futuristic development in Sharia views also, and obviously new Sharia opinions may also come. So I think this type of structure of Sharia boards and Sharia compliance and Sharia governance, inshallah, I expect that in case in future there are some different opinion and different and the fatwas from international organizations like AOP, Majmul Fiqh al-Islami, Jeddah, Majmul Fiqh al-Islami, others. So the adaptability and the adaptability will be inshallah very quick and very inshallah responsive.
Mufti Bilal?
Yes, and I think, you know, the way I see it now is that, as we mentioned earlier, that there are going to be many more product and many more innovative products that are going to be developed within the DeFi space. But along that, because of the importance of halal we have discussed earlier, it is paramount as well that inshallah we can see bodies like SRB or IOF developing Sharia standard that can actually regulate, you know, this industry. At the moment, alhamdulillah, we have developed internally, we have developed, for example, you know, our, you know, crypto screening, right? And from what I have seen, you know, even SRB as well, they have their own criteria. In the past, Mufti Faraz Adam, he had his own criteria with Amana advisors. Crypto Halal as well, they have their own criteria. More or less, they're pretty similar, but we need something a bit more unified. And I'm hoping that along with the new product, inshallah, that will be developed in the Islamic DeFi space, there's going to be a body out there, a Sharia body that's going to be creating a unified standard for everyone to follow, inshallah.
MashaAllah. Any last few words that you guys want to say before we wrap this up?
Lot of prayer
Keep
for
going
you.
forward.
Jazakallah khair. Well, Jazakallah khair to the ulama, and I really truly appreciate this 1+ hour that I've spent with you guys. I've learned a lot. I've taken a lot of notes here. I was being honest, I take notes. And from our users and our customers and our watchers, big thank you to you guys, and thank you for your time. Jazakallah khair. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Wassalamu warahmatullahi
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If you are not afraid of new technologies and want to strengthen your financial well-being, consider subscribe into our channel. We will tell you lots of interesting things.